stands for vulnerable. In 1 Peter 3:7, it says, "In the same way, you husbands must give honor to your wives. Treat her with understanding as you live together. She may be weaker than you are, but she is equal partner. She's an equal partner in God's gift of new life. If you don't treat her as you should, your prayers will not be heard." Amen. Your prayers will not be heard. So you can't treat me any kind of way, talk to me any kind of way, cuss me out, knock me upside of my head, and get on your knees and pray. It ain't going nowhere. Amen. So men, to love your wife the way she needs to be loved, you have to become vulnerable. And that's a word that men don't want to think of ever being, because it says that you're weak. And that's not what it says. You are the head. You don't have to ask yourself a question or feel like you're not. You are stronger than the woman. You are the man, but you have to be capable of being sensitive to her needs. A man has to be capable of being tender. He has to be, from time to time, let his guard down and be open to criticism. See, sometimes when women try to communicate with you, and Pastor and I we don't really argue very much, do we? We really don't. And so that's something that we don't do very much. So what we have to do is, when I want to get something over to him, I have to say it over and over time, because he doesn't hear me, and I won't argue. I don't want to raise my voice. So sometimes I have to say it in a way that I said, now what I'm trying to say is you need to, so he'll understand. That's my argument, okay? So you need to see it as not as a criticism. You need to see it as her trying to really communicate it and keeping it from going to a part where you're going to become both bitter and start an argument. So you got to have some kind of way of talking about difficult things. So sometimes you have to let your guard down and say, oh, I'm not ready to fight. I'm going to listen. Let my guard down and let me really hear what she's saying, and try to understand that she is not my enemy. She is my helpmate. So she might be trying to tell me something that is important that is going to help me.
In fact, we learned this at a marriage workshop long ago, that part of that your wife is not your enemy. She's really your friend. She's trying to help. She's your helpmeet. And sometimes in the talking and the dialogue, a man, because there's a confrontation, the man will look at it as that she's the enemy in this confrontation. But actually, what she's trying to do, connect. So she's trying to really be your friend. So one good practice that I learned in that is that whenever you're going through dialogue with your wife, or intense dialogue with your wife, just say to yourself, she's not my enemy. My wife is not my enemy. She's my friend. Come on, say that, men. She's not my enemy. She's my friend. Come on, say it. My wife is not my enemy. She's my friend. So, so that way it kind of keeps you putting into the look at her in a different perspective, that she is a friend that's really trying to better the relationship and not trying to her to destroy the relationship. In order to honor her and treat her with understanding, it takes vulnerability. You have to be vulnerable to the weaker vessel. That's the only way you can meet the needs of the weaker vessel, is that you will be vulnerable to it. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, you have to understand that Jesus himself, who was there when the world began, who was there, who helped form and shape the world, and who made man, he himself became vulnerable. He subjected himself and came into this earth in human form. Come on, somebody. And when he came, he said, I didn't come to be served, I came to serve. So when he subjected himself to this body, he also became subject to heat and cold. He became subject to hunger and thirst. He became weaker. He became vulnerable in order to meet our needs. Amen? Amen. So as a man, you understand that we've got to come off our high horse and meet the needs of a person. That's what Jesus had to do, to meet her needs. It means valuing her and trying to make her meet her needs in her heart. And to be vulnerable, the first thing you have to understand is that you have to be vulnerable to some things that she has going on in her life. Amen?
Man, the first one, we're going to go a little quickly through these, but the first one is talking about vainness. Normally, she will be, they're saying, excessively concerned about her appearance and will spend some more time in the mirror, and probably more than you do, men. But we just want you to just acknowledge that we look good, or did you notice a new hairstyle or whatever. Amen. Values, certain things may be more significant to her. And just like to me, that the little comedy shows that I like those. So, you know, he needs to value that's valuable to me, or whatever it is. That's just an example. Vision, she needs to be able to see that you can see the visions that she has sometimes. And she sees things that sometimes you aren't able to see when you're around. That's one thing that God has given women, that we do see some things a lot of times that men are so busy conquering and moving and doing that they don't see. She sees your blind spot, man. So don't want to shut up all the time. She may keep you from running into a brick wall. Amen. She sees things in the spiritual realm. God has conditioned us like that. And a lot of times we can see things spiritual that the men can't see. We're not trying to stop you. We're just trying to keep you from getting into something that we can see ahead that's not good for you. Venting, women and men do it too, but women usually a little bit more with this. So we like to vent. So we'll get on the phone, we'll tell our friends what happened, or you know, whatever. And if you don't have friends to tell, then you want to vent to your husband about it. Something that happened on the job. He like, you know, can't y'all just get along on the job, you know? But we want to vent to somebody about it. So here are some helpful pointers, men, that we ask you to do. First, try to identify her feelings. Tell her how you appreciate listening and talking to her. That's a good one. How you appreciate listening to her. Try not to interrupt her. Now, this is what was going on with me the other day when I hung up. He kept interrupting me and over-talking me because his voice is louder than mine.
That's not true.
And so be ready to apologize. He has not apologized yet. I'm waiting. Let her vent without getting angry about it, okay? I just, you know, don't get upset because I'm upset about something. You need to kind of calm me down. But you upset with me and get angry with me because I'm angry? You need to calm me down and understand what I'm talking about. Understand she desires to dialogue and have that closure. We need to bring stuff, to a closure, right? Men want to leave it just hanging. We want to close it up, right? Don't lust lustfully at other women. Don't be looking at we were watching something last night, and what was that thing? And Pastor gonna talk. What is that girl's name?
It's a BET Awards.
What's the lady name in the black that was dancing?
Brianna. I mean, it was
Brianna, but you know what?
It was just looking at
it's my turn.
And we were just enjoying the show. That's all.
He in the kitchen talking about, is Brianna coming on yet? I said, okay. I said, what's the guy that was dancing on the floor, in the black?
Chris Brown.
Chris Brown. He came on down, so we were laughing, talking about invite him to Family Fest. I said, Chris Brown's coming too.
And I simply made the mistake, you all, doing the show, saying how I wish I had high definition TV right now. It was just.
That's exactly what he said.
I mean, there's a lot of people want high D television.
Okay, that was not a point that he got last night. Deduction. Okay, make her your marriage a priority. Speak positively of her. When you are in company of other people, brag on your wife. You know, you hear him all the time talking about, because Pastor does this. Oh, that woman can preach. Oh, she this, and I'm going like, he ain't never said that about me, you know. What about me? What about me? You know. But anyway.
Lastly, the E stands for esteem. Esteem. In Proverbs 31, 20, verse 27 and 28 in the NIV, it says, she keeps an eye on everyone in her household and keeps them busy and productive. Her children respect and bless her. Her husband joins in words of praise.
Amen.
Love, men, we have to understand, is demonstrated by cherishing, respecting, honoring, and esteeming the wife. And one sure way to demonstrate love is to praise her for all that she is and all that she does and all that she brings to you personally as a man, and also to your family and to your household. Eldridge explains that most wives self-worth is tied to the family, where a man's self-worth may be tied to his career and his position and his title
Conquest,
and
yeah.
how much money he makes. A woman's self-worth is tied to that home and what she can bring to that home. Even though we do know that